Welcome to the NBA Coast to Coast podcast, brought to you by thelines.com. Coming to you from the West Coast, Josh Lander, joined as always by Nate Weitzer on the East Coast. And we are looking at play-up props here for these weekend second round games in the NBA playoffs as we roll along. A couple games to choose from, one on Saturday, one on Sunday that we're going to be talking about. It is Friday as we record this, so obviously we don't know if there will be another game on Sunday at this point, as the Lakers and the Dubs are trying to move on tonight on Friday. But at any rate, we'll be coming back to you as soon as we can with those. We've got these player props for you and a best bets video, so make sure to like and subscribe to that page. Also head to thelines.com. You can check out all of the great written content we have up there and use that odds finder tool to make sure that you're getting the best odds available to you across these U.S. sports books that are giving us bets this NBA postseason. We had a great night on Thursday night as the Celtics and the Hawks came together to score a lot of points and hit a bunch of our overs that we called. And so we are now feeling pretty good about those player props as we're up roughly, Nate, just so you know, as we're tracking this, about 20 units in the last 2 weeks betting these player props together combined. So feeling pretty good about that as we continue to get some pretty big units on individual props here that we're finding in these playoffs. Let's go ahead and jump right into your first one, Nate, for tonight's, over the weekend's NBA player props.
Yeah, game one, KD over 33.5 points and assists is minus 102 at FanDuel. And I will admit, I misread this at first and thought it was PRA altogether. And then I rushed to try to bet it. And I was like, oh, okay, it's just the assist. But I still like it. Still like it a lot. I mean, he has hit at least 33 combined in, first of all, 4 or 5 versus the Clippers, despite having a 24% usage rate, because he continues to defer to Devin Booker, who you should defer to when he's absolutely unconscious right now. But KD's still going to be called upon to be a playmaker for sure against the Nuggets team that plays extremely efficiently, a little faster at home, and plays high-scoring games. And KD's played 44 minutes per game in that first-round series. So, you know, he failed to hit 33 combined points and assists only 3 times since he came back from injury, since he was on the Nets. And 2 of the 3 were against Boston when they got swept, the Nets. So, I mean, this is something he does routinely because he scores 31 points a game in the playoffs. And then on top of that, 5.2 assists when he was with Brooklyn. Not the same type of team to the same type of offense where he's averaging nearly 7 dimes per game so far in the playoffs with the Suns. So the scoring might go down a little bit, but the playmaking is not going to go anywhere. His last 4 against Denver, like I said, they're fast paced, their efficiency. He's matched it with 31.5 points per game, 6.5 assists, shooting 63% from the floor. And Aaron Gordon is going to be tasked with trying to stop him. In his career, KD averages 31 against him. He's given everybody 31. In his last 3 in particular, 40 points per game on 58, 52, 96 splits. Also getting the line 8.5 times. So that's when he's at his best, right, in terms of just getting 30, because he's got 11 free throw attempts and he never misses. And then on top of that, he's shooting 50% or better in the mid-range. So I love banking on KD here in this spot in a game that we project for points.
Real quick, you sounded like Hubie for a minute. In the mid-range. Such a Hubie thing to say. That was great. He's shooting 25% in the mid-range. That was pretty good. I'm with it for you on this pick. I like it. I do. I didn't tell you yet because we haven't talked about it, but yeah, for KD, like when you add the points and assists, I think that's the key here. Even if he's going to defer to Devin Booker, then he's going to be setting up Devin Booker a lot of the time as well. And when he's the only person on the floor, he's definitely looking for his shot. But as teams continue to throw at least 2 guys at him at all times, he just sees over them and passes through it, right? Or over it rather. So he's a good bet when you add the points and assists together, especially like you are finding it here for about even money, which is great. So I'm going to take our one player pick. Try that again. Player prop pick from the Heat and Knicks series that we're talking about in this video. Kevin Love over 6.5 boards. I'm gonna start with that one. It's even money for him to get 7. I'm gonna put a half unit on that. Over 15.5 points and rebounds. That's minus 105 on FanDuel. I'm gonna put a full unit on that as well. And I'm gonna talk about why basically the same stuff we were talking about in the best bets video. He is gonna be on the floor. Like they need another rebounder. He is the second big on this team. Make no mistake. I mean, Highsmith has been out there doing decently, but still not big enough necessarily to contend with this Knicks team. And obviously not the person you want on the floor as much as maybe when you can have Kevin Love with all of his playoff experience. So I expect him to be out there. He played 30 minutes minutes in that last game, clinching game for the Heat against the Bucks, and there was good reason. He got well over that in that one. He is averaging 22 minutes a game in the playoffs so far, but that is also because he played just 11 minutes in a Game 2 blowout that they lost, but Giannis also wasn't in that game, so they were not the same size team that they normally are, Milwaukee. And he's really, as far as, I'll just also want to mention the rebounds and why he's so necessary. Like, this team just got dominated on the glass against the Knicks in the regular season. Bam, not really the guy to box out Mitchell Robinson. I don't know if anybody can do it right now. Be interesting to see him and like AD go at it. He's just completely dominated both the bigs on the Cavs, who were supposed to be one of the top teams at that. So, Bam versus Mitchell recently, 8 boards a game, pretty good. 15 points though, not great for him. That's all in 36 minutes. And on the season, they only had a 46% rebound rate against the Knicks, getting out rebounded 42-34 on average in their 4 meetings over the regular season. So, as far as the points, adding that and getting him to over 16 points and rebounds, like he's going to be the beneficiary of ball movement that Miami's going to have to use, as I talked about, a little bit more spacing to get shots, open shots from deep, as opposed to thinking that they're going to be able to get to the lane very often with Mitchell Robinson, the combined size of all the other Knicks front court players. He's actually got the 8th most catch and shoot shots attempts in the playoffs so far of any of the players that are out there. And that's because of the fact that he is playing either in the corner or just, north of that, basically upwards, in a way that he's going to continue to be at the end of that swinging momentum of the ball around the perimeter. That is where Kevin Love is often going to be available. And I think that, he's going to continue to get those types of looks against a Knicks team that will probably funnel things away from a lot of other guys before they funnel it away from Kevin Love.
Yeah, didn't he have a 30-30 game against the Knicks at the Garden back when he was at the peak of his powers?
Probably.
I mean, not that
right. Was that
T-Wolves,
you mean?
But yeah, back when he was with the T-Wolves, it was like the first 30-30-30 game since Wilt. I don't know why I said it a third time, but why didn't you like, you don't like Jalen Brunson 25 points at even money? You said only prop from the Knicks game. You're not feeling your guy?
No, I have another one. I mean, I really just found Kevin Love, and I mean, for Brunson to get 25 points, it's not that I'm not feeling him. The Heat shut down point guards as well as anybody in the league, and at this point, I'm actually better than anybody in the league. So I want to see one game and see what that does to his prop. If he does have a bad game in this one, I'm definitely not saying I'd continue to fade him. If it got to like 21.5, I'd probably feel pretty good about it for game 2. But I'm kind of just on a wait and see mode with him, whereas I think there's a couple other little value spots that, based on how I think this game and really this overall series is going to flow, like there's a few more things I like more, like this one.
Fair enough. Playing line and wait. My second prop, I am again going with the Suns because I love how consistent they are with their roles, and that's why these parlays have been pretty good. I talk about in the best bets video. Here I'm going with Deandre Ayton to get double-digit boards, which is minus 115. I think you might as well take the double-double at plus 110. I mean, he is a guy who's going to get you about 12 to 15 points pretty much no matter what. Especially against Joker, who they're going to have to make work, right? I mean, that's how everybody approaches this. It's like, make the guy work. Maybe you get him in foul trouble, which would be fantastic. His last 9 versus Jokic that were competitive. Last 9 versus the Nuggets that were competitive because Jokic was in there. I'm throwing out the 2 against, where he had 6 and 7 boards because Jokic didn't play and the games were whatever. 17 points per game, 11 rebounds. 34 minutes per game, actually a plus 50 for Deandre. So he is coming to play in this spot against the MVP. So he actually did have single-digit rebounds twice against Joker in that span, but that was, a game where it was 140-130, what I would call a total spike game last March, and Jokic only had 6 rebounds because there were just no boards available. And then there's the first game of the 2021 season where the Suns only had 98 points, but all other meetings, double-digit boards, in fact, averaging 14 boards per game against the Nuggets. So I trust him to get 10, and then I also trust him to get 10 points.
Yeah, I mean, Joker is proving how bad he is on defense, to be honest with you. When Rudy Gobert was allowed to get like 18, 19 points in a couple different games in that series, and all he is capable of doing is laying it up over guys shorter than him when he's very close to the basket. So DA is going to be a bit more, couple of little mid-ranges, couple little, honestly, like half looking floaters that he'll probably be using. He doesn't really back you down, but even if he's getting the ball with his back to the basket, a little jump hook is something that, he's going to get pretty much at will. Joker's not really good at anything other than using his weight to keep you out of there, but he doesn't really need to get very low and close to the basket to score with his touch. So yeah, he is a good type of center to score on Joker, who, I mean, shoot, anybody is if Rudy is. So, but on the other end, he's going to get the business. So I'm going with Joker over points on this one. And I think, you can look at this game a number of ways in terms of how Joker is going to come into this series. But I think at least to start, like, he's going to come with the ferocity to get points. And he's coming off of that sort of momentum of looking to get points against the T-Wolves there towards the end of the series. 25.5 points. I'm going over. You can get it at -105 if you have an account at BetMGM. I'm putting a unit on that. He loves playing against DeAndre Ayton. And I don't think he really cares if DeAndre Ayton scores on him quite as much because of how much he's going to score on him. His last 5 playing him, he's averaged 30 a game with 13 boards and 7 assists in 36 minutes, which is at least how many minutes he's going to play in this game per game, probably in the series. He only played 37 minutes per game in the series versus Minnesota, which I say only, but like I said, it'll be anywhere from 36 to 40 in this one. But I think he was saving some stamina for this one. We've seen him play 45 minutes in a game in a series before. Obviously, Jamal Murray was hurt when he was doing that kind of stuff, but in this one, like, he's got the stamina to go, and he's definitely conserved some of it with getting to play such a bad team like Minnesota. He, against Ayton, likes to step out and hit threes. He shoots almost 5 a game, making 2.2 at a 50% clip. Ayton can't really guard him anywhere, but that only allows him to get even more open on the 3-point line when he's standing out there making passes as well. So, his career against Ayton, just for the record, 28 a game and 11 boards. He's obviously a much more seasoned veteran than Ayton at this point, which is weird to say. I think Joker's still like 26 or 27 years old, but he's still a more seasoned vet than Ayton and has owned him since he's come in the league. So like I said, he's picking up his scoring. I think he's going to continue to focus on that, as the team made clear. Like, Jamal's good, and playoff Jamal's can be like extremely great, but at the same time, like, he's got some games here and there where if they're focusing on him as their clear-cut best perimeter player, then he's going to pick up the slack for sure, and average 29.5 per game in the last 4 after only scoring 13 in game 1, where they won that game in the second quarter basically. So Phoenix, just to finish things off, is allowing 50 points in the paint so far in the playoffs against a team that, Zubac really did all his work down there. Russ was, getting to the rim a lot. So I think the combination of guys like Murray getting to the rim and then Joker already being down there and being able to do his thing is there going to be a lot of that going on here against the Nuggets as well.
Yeah, there's a lot of high-level offensive players in this series and just not a lot of good defensive matchups, right? I mean, it's just like, that's why we're taking overs here. Ayton, I'm not going to take the over on his points, but I mean, he is very skilled on that end. He's just not like a very tough guy on either end in the paint. And Jokic just coming off, eviscerating Rudy Gobert, who's supposed to be the best paint protector around. I mean, yeah, it seems like he could score if he wants to. But I mean, the one thing that made me concerned is, you said game 1 he was chilling last time they opened at home. What if the Nuggets just erupt and they're getting it going from everywhere, and he gets 13 dimes, but he decides he doesn't need to score that night? That does give me some concern, which is why in that parlay I like Murray to score and Jokic to grab 10 boards. But I mean, yeah, he could easily cruise past this. It's just a question of whether he decides he needs to be aggressive.
And that's what he does in the playoffs. That's kind of what I'm trending towards. Not only is that what he did in the last series, the first game, just throw it out. Like, it wasn't like he decided to pass more. He scored 13 points in like 22 minutes and then was like, can I be done with this? Like, can we just call it? We're up 27 points in the second quarter. But then against Ayton, you add that. I think that's fueled by the fact that against Ayton, he's also shown in his last 5, 30 points and 7 assists, right? With 22 field goal attempts in each of those games. So if he's going to shoot the ball 20 to 22 times, times, a man who's capable of hitting 80% of his shots in a game, we got to feel pretty good about it. So that is all the time we have in this video for you guys. Make sure to like and subscribe to that page. Also, check out the best bets we have up for the weekend. I'll probably be bringing you a video for Sunday, another one to talk about Lakers and Dubs potentially, or Dubs and Kings. We'll see what happens on Friday night, but I'll be back talking to you guys about that. So until I see you next, happy betting.